relationships surrounding Kate to narrow down the investigation. According to information provided by family members, Kate Suji was born in 1988, the daughter of a Korean immigrant family in California. Growing up in a disciplined and orderly family environment, Kate early on developed a serious, principled, and responsible lifestyle. At the time of the incident, Kate was just 20 years old, studying nursing at California State University, Long Beach. In the eyes of family and friends, she was a diligent student with high self-awareness, always putting her studies first. Because of this maturity, Kate's family placed absolute trust in her. In early 2009, after much consideration, they agreed to let Kate move out on her own to make commuting to school and daily life more convenient. Kate moved into an apartment near campus, living with Kimberly Raymond, a fellow student she had never met before. Despite being away from family for the first time, Kate never let herself go or became careless. On the contrary, she always strived to live independently, attending classes regularly while working part-time to cover living expenses. Every month, Kate paid her share of the rent on time, never needing Kimberly to remind or complain. It was precisely this disciplined and responsible lifestyle that made Kate's sudden disappearance extremely suspicious. The moment she was absent for just one day without prior notice, Kimberly immediately sensed something was wrong. Because with Kate's character, leaving home or losing contact without a message was something that simply could not happen. Regarding her personal life, Kate had a boyfriend named Jonathan Heen. This was also her first love. The two had started dating in high school, and throughout all those years, never loved anyone other than Jonathan. The argument quickly escalated. In her anger, Kate forcefully gathered Jonathan's belongings into piles and threw them hard toward the door, simultaneously demanding loudly that he leave the house immediately. The atmosphere at that moment was extremely tense. After throwing everything out, Kate stood with her arms crossed, her face flushed with anger. Her eyes reddened as she glared at Jonathan as if she had made an irreversible decision. According to Kimberly, that was the last moment she saw Kate when her friend was still alive. Recognizing the situation was too tense and not wanting to be drawn into the couple's private affairs, Kimberly decided to leave the apartment earlier than usual to go exercise, intending to give Kate and Jonathan space to resolve their conflict on their own. Around 6 p.m., Kimberly unexpectedly received a missed call from Kate's phone number. When she called back, the person who answered was not Kate, but Jonathan. Jonathan said the two had continued arguing, and in her anger, Kate had left and gone somewhere unknown. He appeared worried and asked Kimberly to help find Kate. At the same time, Jonathan pleaded to stay at the apartment, explaining that he was holding Kate's phone and keys and wanted to wait for her to return so he could give them back. Kimberly agreed to let Jonathan stay temporarily, but she also advised him straightforwardly that if Kate had asked him to leave, continuing to stay would only make the situation more tense and would not lead to any good outcome. Around 7 p.m., Kimberly returned to the apartment. When she entered, she noticed the place was completely dark, with no sign of anyone inside. The bottom lock was secured, but the top lock was not engaged, suggesting someone had left in a rather hurried state. Jonathan had clearly left the premises. The bags of his belongings that Kate had thrown out earlier had also disappeared without a trace. Not only that, but Kate's car, which was usually parked near the apartment, was also gone.
Hi.
Want to level up your pizza? I-try niyo na ang ice cream bar with cow cheese. First, layer the pan with cow cheese.
Doing good. How about
Whip condensed
you
milk and
guys?
fruit together. Then, pour cream mixture in the
Chucky,
pan. Top it off with the last layer of cow cheese.
Abilino.
Freeze for 2 hours. Kayang-kaya di ba mga mommies?
Ah,
Tara na mag-snack time with cow cheese.
good afternoon na, no? Kain tayo. Hi,
A
Bilma.
strong sense of unease rose when Kimberly called Kate's phone again, but this time, the other end was completely silent. No one answered. From Kimberly's detailed statement, the name Jonathan Hoying, the victim's boyfriend, quickly came under special scrutiny by police. To investigators, Jonathan was the last person confirmed to have been with Kate before she disappeared, and the intense conflict between them that day made him an individual who could not be overlooked. Jonathan's personal information was immediately sent to law enforcement agencies throughout the state. According to records, Jonathan Huynh was a Vietnamese-American young man, 20 years old, from Mission Viejo in Orange County, with a tall and thin build. Notably, Jonathan frequently used Kate's gray Toyota, making tracking his whereabouts even more urgent. Shortly after, a statewide alert was issued requesting local police units to assist with the search. Simultaneously, Kate's family actively cooperated with investigators, providing all the information they could remember related to Jonathan. According to the family, Jonathan had a habit of playing video games and frequently visited the Block, a large and bustling shopping center in Orange County. This detail immediately caught the detectives' attention, as it could be a familiar destination for the suspect after leaving the apartment. From here, police quickly developed an important investigative lead, tracking the signal from the victim's phone. Analysis of location data showed that Kate's phone was still active, and more alarmingly, it was transmitting a signal from the area of the Block at Orange, not far from Long Beach. On the morning of April 3rd, 2009, a special surveillance team was dispatched to the parking lot of the Block shopping center to conduct covert observation. There, they quickly spotted Kate's Toyota parked quietly amid the crowded lot, as if it had been there for a long time. Determining this could be an important lead, police decided not to act hastily, but instead quietly positioned their forces, patiently monitoring the vehicle for many hours. Time passed tensely. It wasn't until around 6 p.m. that the wait paid off. A young man appeared from the distance, walking rather calmly among the shoppers. When he approached the Toyota, he opened the car door with a key, then headed straight to the trunk. There, he pulled out a dress shirt and casually changed clothes right in the middle of the parking lot, as if nothing unusual was happening. Within just a few seconds of observation, the surveillance officers immediately identified this as Jonathan Huynh, the suspect they had been urgently searching for. The entire team immediately heightened their alertness, following his every small movement. Yet contrary to the tension of the surveillance team, Jonathan remained completely calm. After changing his shirt, he closed the trunk, turned around, and walked straight into the shopping center, apparently unaware that he was fully within police sights. The detectives continued to tail Jonathan from behind, maintaining a safe distance to avoid detection. Inside the shopping area, they witnessed a scene that sent chills down more than a few spines. Jonathan casually walked into a game store, immersing himself in the lively entertainment atmosphere. He participated in playing video games, even laughing and joking with other players. Around 8 p.m., after observing long enough and sensing the timing was right, police decided to approach Jonathan Huynh. To avoid causing panic among the people around them in the shopping center, the detectives wore plain clothes, approached gently, identified themselves as police, and politely requested Jonathan's cooperation in coming with them to discuss the disappearance of Kate Suji. Faced with this invitation,
Kamusta
Jonathan
ka
neither
mo?
resisted nor appeared panicked. On the contrary, he maintained a rather calm, almost indifferent attitude, which made the
Ako,
investigators even more cautious.
bisan may ginambatsagan.
To avoid
Sige lang.
attracting public attention, the detectives escorted
Sige lang,
Jonathan to an
ubra.
unmarked police car parked nearby to
Ay,
conduct an
kinanglan.
initial quick interview. When seated in the car, Jonathan began playing the role of an innocent and clueless bystander. He claimed he didn't know where Kate was, saying the two had broken up and where she went was no longer his concern. However, this excessive nonchalance and emotionless manner of answering only made the atmosphere in the car heavier and more suspicious. More notably, instead of just answering questions, Jonathan began asking the police unnecessary questions in return, such as whether they had taken fingerprints yet, or how they had tracked Kate's phone location. These questions might have seemed casual on the surface, but to experienced detectives, they bore the hallmarks of probing behavior, as if Jonathan was trying to gauge how much the investigating agency already knew. After a few minutes of evasive but tense conversation, the investigators realized that a quick on-site interview was no longer appropriate. They immediately decided to transport Jonathan to Long Beach Police Headquarters, where proper facilities existed for a more thorough interrogation. At the interrogation room, Jonathan Hewing initially maintained his evasive attitude and denied any involvement. He repeated that he didn't know where Kate was, trying to construct the image of an ex-boyfriend who had broken up and had nothing more to do with the victim's life. However, when investigators laid important evidence on the table, particularly the
Like
information
the
that they had found
taste
Kate's
of
body, along with numerous clear signs of murder, Jonathan's demeanor began to visibly waver. Under increasing pressure, Jonathan was forced to change his story. He admitted that he had been at the apartment on March 31st, but firmly denied killing Kate. According to him, the two had been together and intimate that day, after which a heated argument arose over money matters. Jonathan claimed that in her anger, Kate had hastily left, while he stayed at the apartment to pack up his belongings. Not stopping there, Jonathan deliberately steered the narrative toward a sensitive direction, saying that Kate was someone who enjoyed rough, intimate experiences. He admitted that the two had previously used a belt during intimacy, but hastily emphasized, "The last time I saw her, we didn't use any belt at all." Clearly, this was an attempt to mislead the investigation, planting in police minds the possibility that Kate's death was related to an accident during intimacy. However, the story Jonathan constructed immediately revealed too many holes. If Kate had truly stormed off in anger on her own, why were all her essential belongings, from her phone, keys to her car, in Jonathan's possession? And if nothing had happened in the apartment, why did the scene show clear signs of cleanup and concealment? Finally, after many hours of intense interrogation, facing sharp questions and tight reasoning from investigators, Jonathan Heen had no way out. The disguise he had carefully constructed gradually collapsed, and Jonathan was forced to confess part of the truth. He lowered his head and admitted that Kate had died right in the bedroom that afternoon, but still clung to one final excuse. It was just an unintentional accident. According to Jonathan's final statement, when Kate suggested breaking up, the two had a violent altercation. In his anger, he claimed he had only hit his girlfriend once, causing Kate to fall to the floor, go into convulsions, and lose consciousness. Jonathan insisted he had no intention of killing anyone, and that Kate's death was something he could not have anticipated. Panicking at the scene, Jonathan said he had tried to perform CPR to save his girlfriend, but all were futile. Instead of seeking help or calling emergency services, Jonathan made a cold and unacceptable decision. He claimed that out of fear, confusion, and not knowing what to do, he had hidden Kate's body in the closet, then hurriedly left the scene, leaving the truth buried in silence for many days afterward. The self-defense and accident story Jonathan presented completely contradicted the brutal scene police had directly witnessed, which clearly showed signs of intentional murder and calculated concealment. Nevertheless, this confession provided sufficient legal grounds for investigators to arrest Jonathan Hewing on charges of homicide. That very night, Jonathan was detained at the county jail, with bail set at $1 million, while awaiting trial to face justice. According to investigative records, Jonathan Alexander Hewing was 20 years old at the time of the crime, a Vietnamese-American young man born and raised in Orange County, California. Jonathan had known Kate Suji since their high school years, and not long after, the two began dating, becoming each other's first love. On the surface, this appeared to be an innocent young love story, but reality was entirely different. Early on, those around them had noticed this relationship showed many signs of instability. Kate's friends repeatedly expressed concern, believing Jonathan was obsessed with his girlfriend to the point of being unhealthy, far beyond the boundaries of normal love. They observed that Jonathan had a highly possessive nature, always wanting to control Kate's every action, frequently jealous without cause, and more than once behaving in strange, inexplicable ways. For this reason, friends had advised Kate to be cautious, even to consider ending the relationship. Indeed, their relationship was never smooth. After graduating high school in 2006, the two broke up once, then got back together about a year later. However, from the time they reconciled, Jonathan seemed to cling to Kate inseparably. He frequently stayed overnight at Kate's apartment 4 to 5 days every week, gradually turning his girlfriend's living space into his own, regardless of the presence and feelings of others. Kimberly, Kate's roommate, had also clearly expressed unease about Jonathan. She said Jonathan exhibited very strange behaviors, awkward in communication, with unpredictable moods, sometimes appearing submissive, other times suddenly irritable. Particularly, there were moments when the look in Jonathan's eyes as he gazed at Kate emanated something twisted, almost crazed, making Kimberly shudder. Not only those close by, but even unfamiliar neighbors had sensed this abnormality. Once, a neighbor happened to chat with Jonathan and was stunned by his fierce rage when Kate was mentioned. In his frustration, Jonathan complained that Kate doesn't invest in the relationship like I do, always just demanding money. These words revealed that dissatisfaction, jealousy, and resentment had been silently accumulating in Jonathan's heart for a very long time, just waiting for a moment to explode. During the period from late 2007 to 2009, Jonathan Joohoney had no stable job or notable achievements. His life passed by vaguely, without direction, and it seemed Jonathan's biggest concern each day revolved only around Kate. He spent most of his time scrolling Facebook, playing video games, displaying a childish personality, lacking responsibility, and having no clear goals for the future. Yet behind that seemingly harmless exterior lurked an extremely dangerous mindset. In Jonathan's thinking, Kate was no longer an independent person, but had gradually become his private property, something he believed he had absolute ownership of. According to statements the prosecutor presented later in court, from the very early days of dating, Jonathan had nurtured a distorted and frightening thought. If he couldn't have her, then he wouldn't let anyone else have her either. This pathological possessive mentality didn't emerge suddenly. It quietly grew over the months and years, embedding itself deep in his psyche. Kate's friends had witnessed many times her melancholy, exhausted moments after endless arguments. Jonathan was frequently jealous without cause, constantly suspecting Kate of having someone else, or flying into rage whenever she didn't meet his unreasonable demands. Kate was inherently a gentle, patient girl, so for a long time she tried to endure, hoping things would get better.
Na?
May nakasalang ka pa?
Labahan?
Oo.
Wala.
Pag ano mo yung may dalawang blanket. May hindi mo nagagamit.
Ha?
Yung dalawang blanket.
Alin doon?
Nilabas ko na. Para hindi na nakatambak sa mga kama. Hindi na kanila tutulog. Okay na. Nandun na sa ala. Sala. Para tabi na dyan. Ha? Hindi na. Ang aircon namin is 28. Wala kalamig doon. Bawal ba sa bata ang ay yung sobrang lamig. Hindi na. Mahaba mo. Tapos saan nga ba yung sinasaksak din? Ha? Saan yun nilalagay yung dulo? Hindi dito ano? Doon. 中の世界に転生してしまった。一体どうなってるのよ。あの時誰かが声をかけてきた。その人の顔も声も何の話をしていたのかすらも思い出せず、私はこの世界で目を覚ました。どうして運命はまさかこんな美人に生まれ変わるなんて。お嬢様、お食事の準備ができました。ごきげんよう、お父様。ローズマリー。ローズ。お食事の時に歩き回ってはいけないと言っているでしょ。
それのうちに食べよう。
あなたがローズに合わせるのか。私ね、今日お空を飛ぶ夢を見たの。絵に描いたような幸せな家族。当時であるジョン・レーン・マクミラーは石油事業で成功を収め、男爵の爵位をもらい、いわゆる年金でサクサク仕事の話はやめてちょうだい。私は生き返ったら運命。家族にも恵まれて、何不自由ない生活が待っている。部屋の中は小説の中の人物が描いたものです。リリアナ・マクミラーはパドナを開く。この物語のヒロインは兄に友人の死をきっかけに留学先から帰国する。すなわちリリアナ・マクミラーの死。私、リリアナ・マクミラーは近いうちに命を落とす。上様。もしもなんて絶対に嫌。作中でのリリアナの死因は基礎中毒。翻訳者が毎晩入れるお茶に混ざっていた毒薬のせいだ。フレンチブレックス。私の翻訳。ごきげんよう、ブレックスちゃん。すべての緊張。マクミラン家から信頼を得ていたブレックスは娘を亡くし昇進の容姿にのめり込み、事業をネットワークする。この物語のヒロインが現れ、事件の真相を暴くっていうのが小説の流れだ。そこまで言ったら私はもう死んでる。
実にいいヒントだ。今はありだよ。
はい。翻訳は両家のブレックスに封書を持っているそう。こちらから一方的に破棄せよと言われている。彼が自分を殺そうとしていると言ったことで彼を信じる。隣は方法は一つ。私との翻訳を解消したくなるように仕向ける。私たち別れましょう。
あのダンスを見てごらん。
あなたと別れたいのですか。
なんて滑稽なカラスだ。
私の話を聞いていらっしゃる。
これはカラスなんだ。なんと珍しい。
Hmm?
Yung nanonood sa ano, naging sino.
Iano mo na lang yun. Steam. Inano ko na yun. Lahat. May laman. Yeah.